I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the rescheduled Community Preservation Committee meeting. It is remote, and I will read in accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberation through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining the Zoom meeting ID number of 840-0877-2826 or by calling 929-205-6091 or 6099. Reading it too fast, I apologize. That's 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, the Assistant Town Manager, at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 100, prior to the meeting during the business hours. So thank you, everybody, for going ahead and allowing this meeting to be rescheduled tonight at 7:15. And it's good to see everybody. With that, please be safe out there with all those thunderstorms. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I know I only have one correction. The starting time should have been changed to 7:15 over on the left there. And pretty much that was it. Everybody okay with the?
Yeah, I just came from an Affordable Housing Trust meeting, and I do have an item for discussion that came out of that meeting. I don't know if you want to just keep that in committee reports or whether I should have you add it, as an agenda item. So I leave that to you.
I mean, we don't have committee reports on this agenda.
Oh, okay.
So add it as an item.
Okay. All right, so that'd be one of the new businesses or an old business, Colleen?
Probably new business. I mean, we're going to be coming for funding to continue rental assistance, but also potentially some new funding. So
okay,
I would say it is new business.
All right, I'll put it in as new business. So we'll add the housing trust funding, okay, as being under new business. All right, anything else that people have for the agenda? No. I hear a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
All right, Colleen makes the motion.
I'll second that.
Barry seconds it. Let's do the roll call. Julie?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
And the chair says yes, so it has been unanimous, approving it as amended. Now we've got the minutes of April 5th, 2023. The only one that wasn't present was Beth. Are there any corrections, additions, kudos, anything like that for the minutes? I didn't see anything. I thought that it was nicely written as always by Jess. Thank you.
Yeah, good to me.
All right, can I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
All right, second. Barry. And Julie seconds?
Colleen.
Oh, Colleen seconded. I see the pointing. I like that. All right, let's do the roll call. Julie?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
Jess?
Aye.
Barry?
Yes.
And the chair says aye, so it's been approved unanimously. All right, correspondences. And that's next on the agenda. Everybody has received an email from Cindy Knox with regards to a migration of emails. So please make sure you get into your email today. There is a link for your new password, And because supposedly as of June 29th, 4 o'clock, she's going to be assigning new passwords. And
Unless you provide her with your current one.
right, correct. And if you get a new password, that password's going to be in a sealed envelope at the town manager's office. So you've got to get there when they're open. Cindy, did I hit? Go ahead.
Oh,
Yep, you muted.
You're muted.
You're still
Still
muted.
muted.
Cindy?
I always laugh at people that do that.
Well, you've had a long day, so a long couple of maybe weeks.
Yeah, so we're migrating our mail over to Microsoft Mail, which will give you a much better web portal for one thing. But it's a fairly big job with at least 200 email addresses. So what I need is people's passwords so we can move their mailbox over to the new system. And then we're going to run them both for a while. And then at some point in time, we'll turn on the new one and turn off the old one.
All right.
In theory.
In theory. And also too, I heard all the old emails will be kept and everything else like that. It's not like nothing's going to change other than your password.
But does your old
No,
password
everything will
change?
change. You can either give me your password, and I made a double secured encrypted web form to do that, or you can call me and tell me what it is.
I sent mine in. That's
Good
how I
job.
know I'm keeping my current password, Janet.
So when we move over to the new system, everyone's going to be in a password reset though.
Yep. And it's going to be a two system. You're going to get a code or whatever, something like that.
Yeah. So what happened is cyber liability requirements are insisting that we put two-factor authentication on our email, which is not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So make sure, again, that you go ahead and you do that because you just don't want to be stranded and not be able to get to your email and know about all these meetings that are occurring.
Then you'll have to call me.
You got it. All right. So I want to make sure people were aware of that.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Cindy, as well. The other item that I wanted people to know is I received an email from Alicia with regards to the the inventory with regards to the affordable units here in Ayer. And we have gone from 8.69 down to 6.74%. And again, this is the inventory that needs to stay at 10%, or else we can get an unfriendly 40B coming into the town. So she sent me that as an update. And the rest of some of the correspondences are for later on in the meeting. No, the invoices, we did have a question from the library with regards to sending the new invoices from the new library director, and that sort of set in motion in my brain the need for the grant agreements. So Jess, if I can, again, I know that I asked you back in April and I got carried away with other things. If you and I can sit down and go over some of the wordsmithing so that we can have it available for our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Because I realized that we didn't do it, and he was in a quandary of what to do with the invoices. So I helped him get that through. But again, it flicked a little button. So, but there's nothing. He hasn't sent in the invoice. He just needed to know. So I don't have any dollar amount for you. Anybody else receive any type of correspondence?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then the next on the list is just public participation. Checking to see whether or not there's anybody from the public who's got questions to the CPC or anything like that. And always I just remind people that if you are seeing this on either your cable or on the web, to go ahead, give a call over to Town Hall to speak with Carly, send questions to cpc@ayer.ma.us, ayer.ma, yeah, .us. And we'll go ahead and get you an answer back with regard to anything going on with the CPC. So I don't hear anybody from the
Yes,
public. Go
Janet,
ahead.
Pauline's got her hand up.
Oh, Pauline is here?
Yep.
Oh,
Hey,
there you
Janet.
are, Pauline.
How
Go
are
ahead.
you? I
I'm
just
doing
wanted to let you know I have no questions and I'm going to sit here quietly for the rest of the meeting. Okay?
All right, no problem.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. All right. So moving on with old business. Like I say, I know that we've got to work on the grant agreements because again, the past town meeting, we did have quite a few awards of funds. So with that, we do want to make sure that we get all paperwork and everything else and breakdown of all the invoices. And when it comes to the the playground, it would be to our best use of the funds. I know that they have the RFP out for bidding to find out exactly how that's going and then get the true layout of how that park is going to be built. You know, get the blueprints, I should probably say it that way. So we know what exactly we are funding, and especially before we even do up any type of check. Right now, as it stands, we have not distributed any type of funds, even for the remediation. No invoice has come in with any type of breakdown. And so that's why it would be good to get those, again, the grant agreement for Jeff to sign, to know that we need everything in detail form. That's one thing that I have for old business. Anything else that people do want to bring up? Anything else for old business?
No.
Okay, I'm hearing cricket to no, so I'm going to move on to new business. Barry, have you had a chance to talk to the Historical Commission to see what you want to plan for a historical preservation plan?
Well, I mean, we've looked at the master plan and seeing what our responsibilities should have been, or at least we're working at. I actually coming up with a historic preservation plan. I'm not really that well versed in putting something like that together. We're talking about maybe consultant, unless someone on the committee would have better expertise. You know, I'd be happy to work with somebody.
I mean, can someone still?
I think I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, is Arlene still in town? I didn't know whether or
Aileen?
not.
Oh, no, I don't.
No.
No.
All right, I didn't know whether or not.
Aileen did the, I think the second inventory, and then was just recently it was Stacy
Spies.
that did the last one.
Right.
I don't know if we could still get a hold of her or not, but Aileen, I don't know if she's still around or not. I know she had left the area.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know if she's still around or not.
Do you think the rest, one of the other team members might know? If she might be around? I mean,
possible. Well, I could ask Ruth.
Okay.
She hasn't mentioned anything, but I could ask Ruth.
Okay.
And Ruth
Go ahead.
I said Ruth is just sort of getting back to normal now after being out for a couple of months. I don't know if you knew that she was out for a while. She had been sick.
No, I didn't.
She was in a hospital and a rehab elsewhere. But, she's doing much better, so that's good. That's good news. So she's
that is good.
Able to attend the meeting. So
let me know whether or not you want us to send anything, like a card or anything.
She's at home right now, so she's back at home.
Okay, all right, that's good to hear. Yeah, that is good to hear. Give her our best for sure. And if you do need help, I can go ahead and I've been having meetings with Robert. I can find out on how we can, see and how get it funded. I don't know whether or not the administration fees from CPC can be used for that, because I know you guys don't have a budget.
No, we have $750.
Yeah,
What I was going to ask was if there was much, and George didn't seem to know, and I think I mentioned to you once before, if you could find out how much was left from the last inventory that we did, because one of the things that we were going to do is send out some communication to all the houses that were put on the Form Bs to see if these people were interested in going further as far as putting it on the National Register, and we could help them with that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'll go ahead and they give me a different breakdown this time around. But I'll send it to you of what has been reported back to me. Oh, let's see, it would have been about 2 months ago. It was right around the town meeting. So there hasn't been any other type of invoices. So I'll see what's left over.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's on my to-do. Thanks, Barry.
Yep. Yeah.
All
Any
right.
other questions regarding the master plan or our response as far as the master plan? Because I know Carly had sent out like a midterm kind of thing to see how we were doing. I thought that went out to everyone.
Yeah, it did. And I responded back and CC'd you all. Because I think it was Julie and Jonathan that worked on it with I believe Alan's office.
Yeah.
And it was a spreadsheet, and I believe I responded with CPC, but I don't know, Julie, was there a separate tab for historic?
Yes.
Okay. So I wouldn't
I'm sorry, I got distracted with some family things thanks to this format. I'm sorry, I'm usually grateful for this. Can I have is there a question for me directly about it? Because I can't answer anything on that.
I would have only touched the CPC one. I would not have touched historic. So Barry was wondering, giving an update with regards to the master plan, what is it called? Implementation plan.
Sure. At this time, Barry, it sounds, I heard your opening that you were looking at it and thinking of a consultant and, like that piece. There's nothing more that needs to be done to that document. At this point, we've done the evaluation we needed, and we don't need any more from you for the midpoint evaluation. We were really, actually, I can give that update at some point if you want, Janet, but we're good.
Okay. All right. No, that might be good.
Thank you.
All right. So I think you're all set then, Barry. And like I say, I'll get you,
So,
go ahead.
to be clear, there's no need then for a historical preservation plan? Or
Go ahead, Julie.
There's no need for for Barry to edit the midpoint evaluation document. I think that doesn't answer the question as to where the historical group wants to go with that single task.
The task is still on their to-do list.
And we're only at a midpoint, so that's entirely okay. Do you mind if I expand on this just briefly for the sake of the group? Because we were on it too. We found as a bigger, Jonathan and I in our digging, and there'll be more information to follow, but really found that the town is doing a fabulous job, which is not that sounds awful, but that's not what we expected, having a 3-year pandemic thrown in the wrench of the 5 years we've been working on it. But we're really chugging along great as far as the plan went. And one of the big takeaways, Barry, that came from groups similar to the historic preservation group or commission, excuse me, but was that it's really isolating and hard to be a volunteer group in town that doesn't have a town staff member to rely on or to help with things like when do you hire a consultant and things like that. So it actually was a great learning that you were able to kind of share some of that. And that really helped us kind of figure out what the next 5 years and the next plan could look like. So that there doesn't need to be large amounts of stress based on asking. We're just trying to do our due diligence of we have a plan and where are we at, and we were really proud of where Ayer looks and what you have all done to help our town.
I mean, there's things that we're still working on.
Yep.
So
no, we thought great.
So.
All right, and it's good that, you know, it was done halfway through because we still have how many more years left? I mean, it's a 10-year plan, right? So we've got 5 years to go. So I think, again, that's good to hear, Julie, you know, that progress is being made because, again, that presentation 5 years ago of saying, you know, a lot of things were set up as goals, but, you know, didn't get achieved. It's nice to put a thumbtack saying, check, you know, done this, check, done that, and whatever. So this is good.
Yeah, thanks for the update, Julie.
Yeah, I actually think the numbers were close to 70% of the 110 goals. Just don't write the numbers down because I can't say them specifically, but it was something like 70% out of the 111 goals were either started or completed. So we're really chugging along great as a town.
All right. One thing, though, with regards to the historical preservation plan, I went out to the website and I got to get in touch with Jen Goldson because we've got to get the new one for CPC. I gather I never got the final version because the one individual from JM Goldson left, and somehow or another I never got that updated one. The final version. So that's one thing that has got to be done. So that's on my to-do list too. So like I say, sometimes little things that are on other people's to-dos is like, oh, well, that reminds me. So I will make sure we get the CPC one online. All right. All right. So Barry, you all set? We'll be back in touch with each other.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm all set.
No, that's okay. No problem. All right, then with new business, I'm going to let Colleen go ahead and talk about the Affordable Housing Trust and their meeting today.
Yes, so I have sort of three different things. The first is really more of a question, and then the next relate to funding. So one of the things that was brought to our attention is that in our bylaws, we need to do an external audit. And so that we are having some discussions, and I think Jeff Tilliston's going to go back to the town to figure out, given the small amount of money we have in our budget, whether or not an internal audit, you know, through the town is adequate, or whether we in fact need an external audit. But if we need an external audit, the price tag is $3,000 was the quote that we got. And so the question came up as to whether or not CPC funds, because that's where our money has come from, can be used to do that audit or not. And you may not know the answer, but and Jeff can ask the town as well. But since I was coming right here, I said, I'll start with CPC, see if anybody knows the answer to that.
I'm going to say I don't, but I know that I can go ahead and I can ask the coalition, you know, just, do some research on that too as well. So that'll be on my to-do.
Awesome.
If we're requiring it, you know, as being part of the bylaws, and you don't have any other additional funds because you never received anything in lieu of, then yeah, you're sort of between a rock and a hard place. So yeah. And he'll find out whether or not it might be able to be internal because of it being a small amount of funds. I know that the bylaws, when were written, it's because it could be a large amount of funds, and it's better since it isn't. I mean, even though it's it's held by the town, it's still separate entity from the town. I mean, if that makes sense.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I think Jeff was going to go to the town manager and maybe legal to figure that piece out. But we're starting to think about if it is something that we need to pull out of our budget, you know, can the money we have from CPC be used? And then the other piece is we would like to come to CPC for another ask, you know, to go to the town for fall town meetings. So we realized that we'd have to bring it to CPC in August, and then public hearing in September. And so we are considering two pieces to that application. The first is to continue rental assistance. We currently have 10 families for the rental assistance program, which was at 60,000. We would like to bump up the number of families to 12, maybe, because we did have, you know, some that were unable to be funded this time around. So that would bring the rental assistance ask up to 72,000. But also, one of the other goals of the trust was, when it was established, was not just rental assistance, but also, you know, ways to establish new affordable housing. And so, you know, we've been talking about building up a reserve fund should there be, you know, properties that could be purchased. And I know that there's a working group talking about, you know, what the best way to, you know, increase affordable housing is, but we would like to start building that reserve fund so that as plans are made, we, you know, have the money there ready to be used instead of having to come back to CPC. And so we were wondering whether an additional 100,000 was a reasonable starting point, if that's within what CPC has. And I could not remember what the current you know, affordable housing pot was like, but so I guess I wanted your opinions on, you know, whether you think that bumping up to 12 families in, you know, over the 10 that we have right now is reasonable, and then that additional pot of money, because we'd like to then in July put that application together and get it to CPC as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. Again, it's not just what's inside the category, but we can also tap into the undesignated, you know, the balance.
Yeah.
Because that's why we've been throwing the, you know, even though we've been doing the 10% in the three categories, the other quasi 70%, you know, minus the due diligence and the administrative, has been going into the undesignated, and we could, you know, go ahead and take it out of that. I think, you know, again, the whole idea behind the trust fund is supposed to be almost like the conservation fund. So funds go into that trust so it can be used quickly, instead of going to, again, back to town meeting. And anything else that the CPC would go ahead and do would still be at town meeting. Yeah, I think that that's a you know, a good movement for funds. That's one of the reasons why we went to the 3%. That's my comments. Anybody else on the committee?
Nope.
So, all right. So, Colleen, what I can do is I can get you, you know, what the fund. I mean, I'm going to get a new fund balance anyways, because the fiscal year will be ending. So this way here will be starting as of July 1st. So once they get all that balance set, you can have it, you know, before the August, or, you know, hopefully before our next meeting, depends upon when we have it. So I can get that for you.
Okay, that's great. But we'll start working on the application with those numbers in mind, and assuming that, you know, we'll have a meeting in August and in September, that we'll be bringing the application in August and public hearing in September, hopefully.
All right, quick question. I think, if you really, again, I'm one for, for easy numbers. If the trust fund requests, like, say, $200,000 and break it down where, the 72,000 will be used for, sort of like on how we break it when we fund, say, projects that have historic plus affordable housing with it. It's like a dollar amount for one, dollar amount for the other. So, request a certain amount of money where 72, so make it only one application.
Okay, yeah, then that's what I was thinking. We'd have one application and then we'd outline, that part of it's for the rental assistance, part of it is for the other. And you're suggesting instead of coming for 172, going for an even 200 might be. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Awesome.
All right.
Never complain about that.
All right. Anybody else have a feeling for that? No? Okay. All right.
At our next meeting, we'll have the latest balances too, right?
Right, we should, because like I say, it'd be the end of year, and so as of when they finalize the books in, say, beginning of July. Again, we had this meeting on the 28th. My recommendation is maybe we don't have our meeting until August, and forgive me, I don't know what the date is. We don't have one in July. Bear with me. Yeah.
And if I'm remembering correctly, if we came, if we put the application in at 200,000 and then get to the meeting and think we should be asking for less, we can always amend it to less, but not amend it to more. So we'll start with that. And if the balances come in, but if I'm remembering from previous balances, I don't think should be a worry.
True. Okay. And we'll see how, like I say, it goes with other conversations, but yeah. I think that'd be good. I've got August 2nd as being the first Wednesday of the month. So that would be, like I say, possibly, if everybody is okay with that, not to have a meeting in July and have one in August unless something major comes up that we need to bring people together. That's sound about right?
That sounds great to me. And the Housing Trust is meeting on July 19th. So we're going to vote on the application at that point. And so it'll.
Excellent.
Good timing.
All right. That's good. Okay. So let me put down balances. And I'll try to get that before the meeting, before your next meeting. All right. Okay. Anything else under new business? Nope, I don't hear anything. Okay, next we've got a break so that we'll finish the open meeting and then move into executive session.
What do you mean a break?
Oh, I mean, no, I'm sorry. We're gonna end the open meeting and close the open meeting and then open up the executive session.
Okay. So you want me to read the motion?
Yeah, if you could,
okay,
please.
I move that the CPC enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, exemption number 6, for the purposes of the CPC to discuss the potential purchase of real property as to discuss in open session will be detrimental to the town's negotiating position, and then for the CPC to adjourn for the evening at the conclusion of the executive session.
All right, just made the motion. Can I have somebody second it?
Second. Oh.
Who seconded?
Colleen did, I guess.
All right. Okay, let's do a roll call. I've got Julie.
Yes.
Colleen.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Jess.
Aye.
Aye, and the chair says aye. So the open meeting has been closed and now we'll move on to executive session.